since you guys are on this journey, because I remember back then she would tell me like you as a photographer and like the trips you were always traveling. She would even like, it was putting faith in me because she'll tell me like sometimes you get a gig, it's maybe 30 grand or whatever. So you get that kind of gig and that's in 1 month, you know, that's what some people make in a whole year. So the opportunity of entrepreneurship opens up the door.
There's no ceiling.
There's no ceiling, no cap, no nothing. So do you feel like there's seasons where you're like, where's all that? Where's that rush that I got? Where's that, you know, bounty that came in once upon a time? How do you then both as a couple navigate the plenty and the little?
That's a good question.
I mean, I have an answer, because like we have realistic conversations about what we're doing, and so like I keep her updated on how things are going, what I'm expecting. Like I don't want to say we have like weekly conversations on purpose, but we just end up like, hey babe, I'm like, hey, I got this coming in, this coming in, this coming in.
We
so
have
she,
you guys discuss your finances.
No,
we have to. Because she let me know, like, hey, listen, I'm not on that whole, like, so I have to let her know, like, hey, I have this coming in. So don't start panicking. You ain't gotta, we ain't gotta go, I ain't gotta work at Starbucks or work. Like, no, it's these things are happening so she can go, okay. And when it's not happening, we have those discussions too, like, okay, we're gonna pull back on Uber Eats this week, or we're gonna.
It's about communication, you see what I'm saying? Because again, because I know sometimes relationships, right? Especially like sometimes men, right? Like their ego is, you know, up there. They don't want like their partner to like see them struggling, if that makes sense, internally. You know what I'm saying?
It breaks a lot of men. Yeah, they don't want to see that.
You know, us to know. So it's like, you know, having those conversations, I know, okay, like this is where he's at, and this is where maybe I need to put in a little bit more. Does that make sense? Like I need to do more so that things could flow the way it needs to.
Do you feel like your purpose and your calling as a therapist also helps your marriage have this understanding?
No, it definitely does, because again, it's like I understand him and he understands me. You see what I'm saying? And again, like all the tools, right, that I've learned in school and then that I teach my clients, I implement myself. Does that make sense? So again, if I'm preaching healthy relationship, communicate effectively, but I'm not doing it,
then you're not being
authentic. Exactly.
Wow. Do you feel like then you guys are both, you're rewriting, because I know Dion, like your background, you were raised by like a single mom. Lory had lost both her parents at a young age. Do you feel like both of you coming together are like just rewriting the narrative for your family and all of that?
For sure.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
That's
no, we're definitely, I tell her all the time, like we're kind of like the result of like seeing a whole bunch of things not go right and deciding we're gonna make sure our stuff goes right. We've seen the other side of it, and it's like, no, we're gonna be two parents. Like when we decided to have Nora, we're gonna be involved, we're not leaving, we're gonna make sure, and it's not one of those things where, you know, some people stay in spite of blah, blah, blah. We're like, no, let's have a healthy environment.
This healthy environment.
And stay because it is healthy. You get what I'm saying? Like we do a lot of continuous things to like keep building the health part of our relationship, keep feeding it and nurturing the relationship to where if something does go wrong or whatever, it's like, no, we have this solid foundation of how things should work.
It's like, you know, I think about it sometimes, just the foundations of things. There are things that I've seen maybe in my background that I know is not nice and it's not something I want to work with. But you're still alive and some of those people are still alive. And so you have to create like this, like these boundaries in many ways where I'm deciding that my life is not going to be like that. My relationships are not going to be like that. And so you guys have to create that, right? And even protect your daughter from some of those things so that.
It's funny because again, growing up, I don't think I ever saw like a not saying, well, I guess a healthy relationship.
Where communication happens.
With communication, exactly. So again, it's like I honestly think going to school showed me what a healthy relationship looks like from all of the, you know, works that I've done and things that I've learned in school. You know, like in my program. So I feel like if I had, I don't know, majored in business, for example, right? I wouldn't know what a healthy relationship is. So I feel like doing, you know, my program was therapeutic for me in a sense. You see what I'm saying? Like showed me the ways that I need to be. I'm like, okay.
It's crazy that you say that, especially about the school part, because I always used to identify patterns. I always used to be able to discern something is wrong with that. Something is wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But that's all it used to be. And at some point, I started, like, literally, I'll have like these, I don't know how to explain it, like an inclination. There's certain kinds of people I could tell the behavior, but I always had a different name for it until I went to school. I'm like, oh, okay.
There's an actual term for that.
All right, that is histrionic, something going on there. That looked like borderline to me. You know what I mean? Like, and I start understanding, like, oh, it makes it, and it makes it so it takes the power away from it once you're able to understand what it is, so you can navigate with people in a way that is awesome.
Just talking with somebody about something similar, like, I don't remember the exact topic, but I was telling her, I was like, hey, a lot of times when people can't define or they don't understand something, they're afraid of it.
Right.
And they treat it like it's something, and I'm like, yeah, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the thing. Go research it. Go put the time in to find out what the thing is. So, and she looked at me with the same face you just met. She was like, oh. I was like, yeah, you just don't understand that, so you call it something else. Yeah.
It is so powerful. I think relationships have the potential to be very peaceful and beautiful and purposeful if we understand each other, right? And
ourselves, because a lot of people don't understand.
They don't.
Yeah.
Like they think, again, like the way they communicate, the way they do things is normal.
Yeah.
They're like,
that's just me. It's
that's
like,
just no.
It's so powerful that you said that, because I was once in like a relationship, and it was always like everything I did was wrong. The person said everything I did was wrong. Oh, you're so this. I'm like, but my friend, you know, people like me. Like, what's good? So everything I did was wrong, but the person didn't realize that, you know, they had like an abandonment issue where they needed validation from someone all the time. They needed that attachment. And you kind of know me. I will be present when I'm with you, but I like to go and do my own thing. So I ended up being like this really bad person who's doing her own thing. She's not carrying me along. I'm like, no.
You were not codependent.
I'm not codependent, exactly. And so I ended up being, and so unfortunately though, you can start thinking about yourself like, am I bad?
Yeah, there's something wrong with me in that scenario.
Yeah, exactly, until you meet someone else who's more interdependent.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this is actually normal.
Yeah, or you found someone who matches up with that.
Matches up, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't want to be on the extremes.
No, exactly.
Extremes are weird. It's a weird place to be in.
Oh, I know. It's interesting. Yeah, the moment you understand what it is, and most people say, well, we're just angry in my family. We're just angry. That's how we express ourselves. We're just angry people. Like, all right, cool, go with your anger. Go do that somewhere else, exactly. So yeah, a lot of people don't know themselves, and I think that's the first thing. The core of a person is you have to understand yourself and know your why, and know what even makes you tick, like, you know. So then, what are some goals that you think you both have for the future? Like, are we trying to retire at 40? Are we trying to...
That's right. I haven't thought about retirement, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Because maybe there's no retirement for you, because I really don't believe in retirement, because I feel like your purpose is something you do till you're done.
I think for me, one of the main things was actually choosing a career that fits like me being a mom as well. Because again, right, with Nora, like she's off, let's say in the summers, like she's off in holidays. So I want to choose a career that aligns with that. So me having my own business, I can choose, okay, well, I could take a month off for the summer if I want to, so I could travel with her. You see what I'm saying? But if I was working, right, a normal job, it would have been very hard for me to be present, you know, because thinking about my childhood, like my family wasn't as present as they should be. So I want to make sure that I'm present, you know, with her. So doing this, I feel like it's the purpose, you know.
It's the purpose.
It's like purpose-driven. Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's amazing. Yeah. No, I know you're gonna keep killing it, and you're gonna keep doing that, and you have a supportive partner that can sort of help you on that journey.
One of our goals, well, obviously, is to make more money, so we can live even more relaxed and free life. And then our businesses too. Like, I know she wants to expand her practice even more to eventually become a supervisor and run her own thing, to where having people working under her. And then for me, it's the Eve aesthetic. I want to transition to where, even though I do fashion photography now most of the time, I want to transition that over to where the Eve aesthetic dominates like 90% of my time, and the other 10% is fashion or editorials or campaigns.
Vision, because a lot of times with your clients, you have to execute the client's vision, not yours.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I want to be in more control, even more control. I get a different fulfillment from designing for the Eve aesthetic versus working for clients. Even though it's fun, I still get joy out of it, but way more fulfillment in a different way from the Eve aesthetic. Yeah.